Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, still not here with Geeky Sparkles again. She's out and about. Don't worry, things are fine. Everything's fine. But she's going to be sitting the next couple of videos out. We're going to talk about Deadspin. We're going to talk about that kid wearing that face paint and how he was dragged on social media and in the media by Deadspin. And now there's a lawsuit. Because imagine that. You can't call people racists or bigots or whatever, call them Nazis unless you actually have some hard evidence that they are. And this poor kid's been through it, I'm sure, thanks to Deadspin. Again, Deadspin being a sports site that was told by its owner a couple of years ago to stick to sports. And a bunch of people left when they were told to stick to sports, and apparently they still won't keep their damn hot takes out of their articles. We're going to talk about this thing. We haven't really talked about it on the channel before, but this reminds me very much of that MAGA hat kid situation. And he got a lot of money because the media portrayed him in a very negative fashion, said he was doing things he was not doing, and could have potentially ruined the kid's life, right? But he's probably doing better now. He's got a lot of money. So you really got to be careful when you smear people as being racists or Nazis or any of these buzzwords that are going around. You have to prove that they actually are. You have to prove that they actually had ill intent. And yeah, so let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. No woohoos today. No woohoos today. But yeah, look, we are talking about this not because it's a political thing, but because this has to do with digital media. And we've been talking a lot about digital media. And right now, Geo Media, the owner of Deadspin, has to be freaking the hell out. They shut down Jezebel, and apparently Jezebel got picked up by, I think it was Paste Magazine. They're going to give it another go. But they're shutting their websites down because the ad revenue is not there. Now, on top of that, on top of having to deal with that crap, right, that they're not bringing in enough money, now they got to deal with a potential lawsuit from the parents of this kid. So let's go out to a Mediaite. Parents of young Chiefs fan threatens to sue Deadspin for accusing the 9-year-old of wearing blackface. Yes, for those of you who don't know, this kid was accused of wearing blackface. He's wearing Chief colors on his face, red and black. Well, they portrayed it as just one half of his face and said the kid was wearing blackface. Now, you can argue whether or not he should be wearing a headdress. You can argue whatever. The point of it being is he's 9 years old. He was excited to go see this game. He was wearing his team's colors, and garbage tier digital media outlet Deadspin, which has been told to stick to sports. Deadspin, by the way, ironically enough, used to be part of Gawker. And Gawker got sued into oblivion by Hulk Hogan for the same kind of bullshit. So again, the owners of Deadspin have to be looking at this like, yeah, it might be a good time to get rid of this website completely and get rid of the people working on this website because we're going to have problems. And I think a lot of these websites, the Mary Sues and the Polygons and the Kotakus, and I think what actually might be their undoing, in my opinion, is that their journalists are going to push it too far. And they're going to get their publisher into a potential legal entanglement because more and more of these journalists are proving themselves to be activists. And a lot of times they don't even have the facts right. They just want to portray the story the way they want to portray it to get the hits or whatever. But then your publisher has to pick up the pieces. And picking up the pieces might mean millions of dollars in a lawsuit, a defamation suit, which more and more lawyers are taking seriously these days. It was very hard to prove defamation a couple of years ago, but there has been precedents now that if the media is out there calling you a white supremacist or a Nazi, you damn well better be a verified white supremacist or Nazi, because that's not interchangeable with person I don't like or person who voted for somebody I don't like. That's what's going on here. Anyway, the parents of a young Kansas City Chiefs fan are threatening to sue Deadspin after the publication accused the child of wearing blackface at a game, the New York Post reported Monday. During the Chiefs' November 26th game against the Raiders, 9-year-old Holden Armenta, they put his name in here, was seen in the crowd sporting a Native American headdress with black and red face paint. The images sparked outrage online, with some claiming Holden offended both the Native American and Black communities. Now, face paint like this is very, very common at games. It is. So whether or not you agree with him doing that, or his parents letting him do that, wearing the headdress, whatever, just know that it's very common for fans to wear their team colors on their face, even on their bodies, and elsewhere, on their bodies or whatever. I mean, that's actually a very common thing. That led to a scathing article from Deadspin writer Karen J. Phillips. And it's still there. It's still up. And what they did is they only showed one side of his face, the side that was painted black, to make it look like he was wearing blackface. He said that the child found a way to hate Black people and the Native Americans at the same time, and it was beyond a bad look for the NFL. Shannon, Holden's mother, then took to Facebook to accuse Phillips of trying to create division. It's Deadspin. Again, reminder, they were told to stick to sports because they keep pulling this shit. They keep pulling this shit. Update how Deadspin imploded. So Deadspin's still around. They're still around. But yeah, they've been doing this for a while. And they are 3 to 5 years beyond their expiration date. And all it would take, honestly, to shut them down is a lawsuit like this. I think that's it. I don't think Geo Media is going to want to deal with them. She clarified her son's Native American. Now, that's the whole thing. Now, apparently, she said he was, the tribe or something said he wasn't, as I understand it. In a statement, I am not even going to attempt to pronounce this because I'm going to botch it so badly. They said that this particular tribe, of which the family says they're affiliated, says it does not endorse wearing regalia as part of a costume or participating in any other type of cultural appropriation. Holden's parents have hired Claire Locke LLP and demanded that Deadspin issue a retraction for Phillips' story, which I do not believe they've done. Apparently, that story is still up. These articles, posts on X, and photos about Holden and his parents must be retracted immediately, Locke said in a letter, as reported by the Post. We'll go out to the Post article too and see what's going on. It's not enough to quietly remove a tweet from X or disable the article from Deadspin's website. You must publish your retractions and issue an apology to my clients with the same prominence and fanfare to which you defame them. Yeah, they got a lot of mileage out of this. Like, look at this kid wearing blackface at the game. In a now deleted tweet, Phillips, that'd be the journalist, doubled down and called people idiots for treating this as some harmless act. There are like 700 comments on this. This poor kid just having fun at a football game and some lame ass decides to ruin his life. I feel bad for this kid getting caught up in what is possibly the dumbest political bait chit throwing I've seen in a while. Liberals were all saying it was political bait. That means the media is reporting it that way. Yeah, they need to sue him, I think. Clearly the kid was lampooning. He read black-skinned people? What? You've really lost perspective. I despise the right wing, but I ain't with you on this. Attacking 9-year-olds for football cosplay is disingenuous, overwrought, and oversensitive. I agree with that, regardless of how you feel about football teams and them using Native Americans as mascots and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My own, I went to 2 different high schools, but one of the high schools I went to, they actually replaced their Native American mascot with, I think, like Spartans or something. I forget what it was, but I was kind of surprised because that was like a whole thing. They had like the whole school was decorated and they decided they were going to get rid of that. And again, regardless of how you feel about that, the name changes and all that stuff. This is a 9-year-old kid. This is a 9-year-old kid you're accusing of blackface. And that's not even true because it was only one side of his face that was painted black. And it was the team colors. The team colors are black and red. Dead stupid. Then they're talking about, they're bringing Kyle into it. That Kyle. More MAGA stupidity. No, it's not MAGA. Ain't no 9-year-old with the wherewithal to put this costume together. Dopey dad thought it'd be cool to indoctrinate his little slugger into owning the libs. Dopey libs let dopey dad get what he wanted, attention. It's so mean to dress up to support your sports team. Oh my God. Well, it was as black is not one of Kansas City's team colors. Is it? No, maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't. I have to think about that. Maybe it isn't. people suck these days. And apparently, as I understand, again, I didn't watch that game, but as I understand it, what put the kid on the radar was that the camera operator at the game decided to zero in on him, probably because he was like, oh yeah, hey, look at that kid with that headdress on or whatever. Or maybe he or she or they or them or whatever was offended by it and decided to zero in on that kid. But the kid got a lot of attention, negative attention. So that's turning into political. Of course it is. Of course it is. Look, here's the thing. This is a 9-year-old kid. Deadspin called him a racist, said he was doing blackface. And all they got to do is issue a retraction like, hey, he's a 9-year-old kid. We don't think he did anything wrong. But of course, I don't think they would be willing to do that because Deadspin is a garbage tier website. And I really think that Geo Media is going to shut more and more of these down. They got rid of Jezebel. That was a pain in their ass. I could totally see them getting rid of, I think they own Kotaku. I could see them getting rid of Kotaku. Totally. Especially some of the stuff that Kotaku's done. I mean, you want to talk about defamation. Troy Levitt, Kotaku defamed him as being like alt-right or a racist or bigot or some garbage like that. He was one of the developers on Hogwarts Legacy. Because they were mad about the game existing, they defamed him and they went out to his YouTube channel and said he was a bigot and a Nazi and all this other stupid crap and basically got him fired off the game, or he decided to part ways because of the controversy. But you know what I'm saying? Like, these websites are courting controversy and they put shit like this out into the world. And they think they're being brave journalists. Really, they're just activists using a platform that somebody else bought and paid for. And they run the risk of getting their publishers sued. Like, I don't think the owners of Geo Media are real damn happy about this, given that they were told to stick to sports before, and they're going to look like freaking morons now if they walk it back, but I think they need to issue that retraction. I think they need to shut the site down. I think any of these websites, they need to lay out a clear, like, look, you're talking to a guy who started out working at freaking newspapers when I was a teenager. Okay. I was like Jimmy fucking Olsen, but without the ginger hair. So they need to lay down the law, and you are allowed to report on stuff, and you're allowed to be a little bit dangerous, and you're allowed to report the truth. You can speak truth to power, but lying about a 9-year-old boy just to own your political adversaries is a bridge too far for like anybody. Like, what the hell are you thinking? And again, have you learned nothing? This website was once owned by Gawker, which got sued into oblivion by Hulk Hogan for the same shit. So I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. All of these websites are garbage. And I think they're all going to get, I mean, they're not even bringing the money in now. They're costing money. They're costing money. This could wind up, if this winds up going to court, if you look at the MAGA hat kid situation, this could wind up costing them millions of dollars. So they need, and this isn't a one-off. Like, how many other people have they defamed over the years? If you put a list of grievances together, somebody should do like a class action lawsuit, like all the people that have been defamed by the Geo Media websites over the last however many years since the Gawker days, and put a list together and be like, yeah, all these people, they want in. They want to sue your ass into oblivion and shut your shit down because you guys lie. Now, if they're speaking the truth, again, that's one thing. But they're defaming this kid. Blackface. That's not blackface. The kid's face is black and come on. God. So this is the New York Post version of it. They said Phillips is the journalist. It featured a photo of him standing sideways, suggesting he was wearing blackface with no mention of the red side. No, he was split down the middle. Sorry. Phillips, a former New York Daily News reporter, also slammed Holden's Native American headdress and his tomahawk chop gesture, claiming the boy found a way to hate black people and Native Americans at the same time. He is a 9-year-old kid. I don't think he's deliberately hating anybody. He's just going to a game. takes a lot to disrespect two groups of people at once. Oh, God. Which has since been, okay, this is what he wrote in the article. It's since been tagged with a community note on X, branding it as purposefully deceiving. This is what happens when you ban books, stand against critical race theory, and try to erase centuries of hate, he wrote. You give future generations the ammunition they need to evolve and create racism better than before. Oh, fuck off. That is not what is going on here. Again, you don't have to agree with the Native American imagery. You don't have to agree with the headdress or whatever. But you're saying that this 9-year-old boy is deliberately and maliciously racist and trying to cause, like, the kid's just watching the football game. It says nothing to do with the NFL. Somebody said, his mother actually said, oh yeah. Yeah, his mother points out that this had nothing to do with the NFL. That gets clicks. He is Native American. Stop already. Holden here with his dad said it's a little scary that he's been falsely labeled a racist. Yeah, because his name's out there, and crazy ass people are going to look for him. They're going to look for his family. Way to go, Deadspin. Like, shut the fucking site down. Shut it down. His dad said it's been a lot. It's been a pretty crazy couple of days. I was mad, upset for him. I'm mad. He's upset. He's pretty devastated. I mean, he's seen the videos and everything posted. It was his dream to get on the Jumbotron. And I've had family and friends call and say, hey, we saw you Sunday night on Sunday Night Football. But then everything else came up. When asked if he wants an apology, he said it's too late for that. Damage is done. It's worldwide. Now there's comments all over. Disrespect towards Native Americans and toward my family. We never in any way, shape, or form meant to disrespect any Native Americans or any tribes. It's a 9-year-old boy supporting his team. Shut the fucking site down. Just shut the fucking site down, Geo Media. All you gotta do. Your headaches would go away. Just shut it down. I mean, this parasite will go someplace else, I'm sure. They always tend to land on their feet. But they're running out of places to go to. I mean, they really are. All these websites are shutting down. But this is a liability. Like, if it were me, I'd look at this and be like, my God, I've already warned these people. 4 years ago, I gave them a warning. I said, you stick to sports. You keep your freaking nose out of politics. Just talk about sports, strictly sports. And you pull this shit, and now we're being threatened with a lawsuit. Get the fuck out of my office, because I told you not to do this. And you can deal with a lot. You personally can deal with a lawsuit because, I don't want that headache. I don't want to deal with that headache. It's bullshit. It really is. This is why these websites need to die. This is why they're all getting shut down. This is why they're getting sold. This is why advertisers aren't spending money on them anymore. They're just going to video, or they're going to podcasts, or they're going to, you know what I'm saying? They don't support this shit anymore. That's why they're going out of business. It's not rocket science. And the journalists who are like, oh my God, journalism's imploding. It's like, no, it's not imploding at all. Actually, citizen journalists are doing your jobs for you. They're picking up the slack. They're starting YouTube channels. They're starting Substacks. They're posting on X. They're starting podcasts. They're doing your jobs for you. Because they can build their own thing. They can build their own audience. You motherfuckers aren't capable of doing that. Again, you're parasites. You attach yourselves to something that somebody else that was much better than you, much smarter than you, built. And then you run it into the ground. You kill it. And then you just move on to the next thing. Don't let these people move on to the next thing. If you actively burn down an industry, or you actively burn down a business, and you've done it multiple times. And I've seen these people go from place to place, one host to the next, and they kill it. You eventually you start to realize what the common denominator is, and as an employer, you have to look at that and be like, nah, you've worked your way through. I'm not just talking about journalism. Like, you've worked your way through comics, you've worked your way through tabletop games, you've worked your way through animation, and you've left ruin and destruction in your wake. You're bad fucking news. Go get a job at Starbucks or something. I don't know if I'd trust them to work at Starbucks because they'll probably spit in the coffee. But I'm just saying, shut the site down, Geo Media. It is in your best interest. If not, you're going to have a repeat of Gawker, where it got sued into oblivion. I'm going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.